everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Over It. I'm Tara Setmayer with Julie Roginski, Michelle Kinney, JoJo from Jers. And as you can see, I am not in my normal place. I'm in New York City. I am close to the gals, but far away still in my hotel room. Michelle and I had a little event to go to last night. So that's why you see me here from the upper echelons of New York City in the hotel room. But we are all here today because we've got some things we're over. It's Wednesday. So we're going to talk about it because, there's a lot of shit still happening. And we want you guys to let us know what you're over as well. Send them in the comments. Also, JoJo has an amazing interview that she will be dropping this week with a certain governor from a certain West Coast state that we'll let her tell you guys about. We're excited about that. And for all of you who are just joining us, make sure you like and subscribe to the Mayday Network if you guys have not done that yet. We are moving everything over to the Mayday Network soon. We're transitioning over there to put everything in one place. So make sure you like and subscribe Mayday Network on YouTube. And so, ladies, who wants to kick it off? Because my over it has to do with DC. So,
I'll go.
Okay, Julie.
Because I'm over it, and I've been thinking about it today. I'm a little tired. I was at the Who show last night in Newark, New Jersey. It was such a great concert. If anybody has the opportunity to see them, they're about 1,000 years old, and they still are amazing. But that's not what I'm over. I am over. So I don't know. We talked about this last week, but I went on CNN last week, and we talked about Scott Jennings and all of his fuckery. But sorry, Dad. But
right off the bat, Julie.
Yeah,
part that we did not discuss is Jillian Michaels telling me, and this kind of went viral, that slavery was no big deal, and she's kind of tired of white people being blamed for it. Because did you know that only 2% of white people own slaves in this country? First of all, that is just false. Like
only two anyway.
But also demonstrably false. Like you have to take the northern states out, and then you have to take all the black people out in the southern states. And then when you take all of those, and then you have to take all the women out because the heads of the households are men. And when you do that, it turns out like 50% of white men in the southern Confederate states owned slaves. But I'm not here for the history lesson. I'm here because here I thought naively, oh, okay, this is just this idiot who used to be in The Biggest Loser, who is a fitness trainer, and she's got about as much like standing to talk about history as I do about muscle tone.
She's also, like, I just want to say, is a fat phobic garbage person.
Okay, yeah, I've read about that. That apparently
she sucks.
Yeah, she used to like shame these people in The Biggest Loser and make
That's
them.
the thing. And she does, like, still, like, she always has something to say with somebody who doesn't have a body that she approves of.
Well, that's the irony of this, right? Like that she got paid to shame people for their appearance.
Yeah, and I hate. Let me just stop. This is not what I'm over, but generally in my life on Earth, the one thing that I'm over is shaming people for their weight. I hate it. I think it's lazy. I think it is reductive. I think it is abhorrent, and not just for their weight, for their appearance. Because guess what? People are born with certain genes, and they can't help what they look like.
What if they get a bad nose job though, and they look like Michael Jackson? Can I say something?
Yes, because that's a choice.
Okay.
But like Trump paints himself orange, that's a choice. I'm going to go after him and call him a melted oompa.
Right. But if you are not a particularly stunning person, or you're overweight, or you're underweight, or you're anything that you like, people can't help that. When people used to make fun of Chris Christie for their weight, and I say this as a Democrat, I hate that. It drove me up the wall. But that's not what I'm over. I am over the fact that I thought it was just Jillian Michaels, but it's not, because the president of the United States, can we throw up this tweet from yesterday? Thank you. He's now taken over the Smithsonian, and he's upset because apparently it's how horrible a country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future. Well, history museums are typically about the past. And forgive me for suggesting that there's nothing bright or successful about slavery, which is the enslavement of human beings by other human beings. Like, what planet are we living on that this is even debatable. And I blame CNN for this, and I'm so annoyed by this that I actually am like really reconsidering a lot of my life decisions here with respect to CNN, because you don't put somebody on TV and you have somebody like me say slavery bad, and then you have somebody else say no, slavery not a big deal, and we have a quote unquote Fox News type fair and balanced debate, because on the one hand the earth is flat, but on the other hand the earth is round. Let's debate it. Like, there's no debate, there's just fact. White people enslaved Black people in this country, and as a result of that sin, and that is the only time I use the word sin because I'm not religious and I'm certainly not Catholic, as a result of that sin, we have had institutional racism in this country that 150 years later still ensures that Black people economically cannot keep up with white people. Not all Black people, not all white people, but generally speaking, tremendous amounts of wealth for white people compared to almost none for Black people, comparably. Okay, not everybody. And that is as a result of the fact that people came here and were enslaved by one race towards another. Like, I don't understand why this has to be debated. I don't understand why this white Jewish immigrant has to be the one to explain this to people. Like, this is stupid. And I'm over it. And I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like, I can't believe we're having these discussions. I can't believe that the president of the United States is upset that the Smithsonian, one of which the museums under the Smithsonian is the African American History Museum. Why we can't talk about slavery there anymore? Like, what are we going to start? We can't talk about Jim Crow.
It's not right.
Oprah?
Right. This is I come back to this Orwell quote all the time because this is where we are. Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture repainted, history stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. This is the moment we are living inside of, and it's not by accident. Donald Trump has a very long, well-established record of being an unabashed bigot. I mean, you can go all the way back to the Central Park Five, and
further back,
right? Like renting out. Yeah, exactly.
He was sued that by the Justice Department of $100 million for not renting to people of color.
Right, and you couple that with Project 2025, for whom this American greatness is just very, very like badly coded and not well disguised language for white male empowerment, right? You take all that, couple it together, and this is what you get. You get Donald Trump, who has, a little teeny peen Woody for whitewashing history, and Project 2025, and now they are rewriting history. And it's that coupled with what they're doing with PragerU and all of the revising and rewriting of history. And it's, Michelle, I think about you all the time because you say that you've been hoarding history books, and I think about that.
I'd have no room for them. But they file.
Yeah. This is where we are in 2025. I mean, they scrubbed Harriet Tubman's. This is my Substack today. It's going out after this. They scrubbed her picture from, I think, the National Parks website, but put all that stuff back after public pressure and public outrage. So that kind of tells me that there is still room for us to stand up and speak out. But they are trying to literally and figuratively erase and rewrite American history, in particular as it pertains to the sins that you just said, Julia, the sins of our past that we have to atone for, be accountable for, reckon with, deal with, learn from.
My son had to read Fahrenheit 451 in school last year. If anybody's ever read that book, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read that book, now would be a good time. It's a Ray Bradbury book. It's kind of a dystopian fiction, science fiction-y type book, but it's effectively about what's happening now, where the firefighters in this country, which is supposed to be the United States, come in and burn books. They burn books.
Where have we seen that before? Because
you can't have books that don't comport with the reality that they want you to have. And it's coming because they're not burning books yet. Florida. Well, they're not burning them yet. They're banning them. But now they're banning museums. They're banning exhibits at the National Museums of the United States that talk about a really massive arc of American history, which is that slavery was a thing. It's like
It's the original sin, okay?
Yes.
It's the original sin of this country. And the problem here is that it infringes on the white supremacist male patriarchy narrative that Donald Trump and MAGA have used to usher themselves into power, and they want to keep it.
Yep.
This is part of that entire scheme. So they don't want, it's not about white people bad, okay? It's not, it's fact. It's indisputable fact what happened to Black folks in this country, being brought here against their will to build
Stolen.
this country.
Right.
You know, I mean, it is what it is. And yes, there was a war fought over it. And they tried to change the history with that. We talked about the lost cause and the Confederate statues and trying to romanticize the Confederacy because they couldn't get over the fact that they fucking lost the war that was fought over the enslavement of Black people.
And I have friends in the South, as I'm sure all of us do. One of my good friends from college, his grandparents founded a private school in Georgia. And he's like, we were taught it was like the war of northern aggression.
Right.
And like this, he's not like, I'm 43 years old. Like this was not that long ago. He's like, it was like the war between the states. And he's like, it was, and the North was the bad people. They were the bad ones. And she's like, that's just what we learned.
Right. It's
and
an example of rewriting history.
He's had to grow up and unlearn all that.
That's an example of how they tried to rewrite history because they were pissed off about losing the Civil War. Same thing happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma after the race riots. Literally, Oklahoma tried to whitewash and sanitize the news stories about what happened with the Tulsa race riots, and the destruction of Black Wall Street. It took decades. They tried to get it out of schools, so it wasn't taught in the school system. Decades of the descendants of Tulsa, of the 1920, well, Black Wall Street massacre, that fighting for this. It's still going on. Reparations for that 100 fucking years later. So this has been tried in history already in this country, and Donald Trump is now scaling it up to the Smithsonian's. And last night on CNN, Abby Phillip did an opening monologue to fact check this thing, which I was like, well, at least they did that. But I'm like, it was like, but they still did it in a way that made it seem like Jillian Michaels had some kind of valid point here, and then she just needed to like correct the record.
She'll be back. By the way, Tara, she will be back. She's got 1.5 million Twitter followers.
Yeah, crazy.
Addicted to that sweet crack.
Yeah. She'll be back before.
That's why Abby mentioned it.
Listen,
she'll be back before either one of us will be back on that show.
There,
Todd Jennings was up in that show again, going on about, well, yes, slavery was horrible, but we also had a lot of heroes who helped win the war that we should talk about and not be afraid to talk about that. It's like, why does it have to be?
Wait. We in Kentucky had a lot of heroes who won what war? Because am I right to believe that they weren't?
I was like, tell me you're from Kentucky without telling me you're from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I
mean,
and like, here's the thing.
It's because they claim, Lincoln. It's like, dude, you're not absolved from the role that Kentucky played also.
Yeah.
And we drop this graphic I just sent Em before we move on from this, because this kind of encapsulates where we are right now. I just posted this. I mean, this is where we are right now. I just wanted to say that. It's up on my Twitter if anybody wants to share it out. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, listen, it's simple. I mean, it's complex, but in plain language, it's simple. There is an American white patriarchal white nationalist takeover of this country. It is a white nationalist Taliban that has taken over this country, and reporting anything less than that is journalistic malpractice.
Yep.
And a disservice to this country that has given you your job to sit at that table. Like that. And I'm not saying that at her. I'm saying it to like literally all of them.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Homeland Security Twitter feed? Have you guys seen?
Oh my God. It's insane.
It's very Nazi. It's giving very Nazi vibes.
Nazi propaganda, recruitment posters. I mean, we should go actually, Tara, we should go through some of the old Nazi propaganda posters and put them side by side, because I'm sure that
Yes.
there would be you know.
Yep.
Look at the Soviet ones from the 30s too, because very similar.
Yeah.
Yes, and Mussolini, and who was the godfather of propaganda after learning how to do it from Woodrow Wilson and us. And Hitler admired Mussolini because of the way that he treated the press and the way he used propaganda and the media to rise to power, and with fascism in
And
Italy.
listen, Hitler was taking a lot from the United States too.
Yes,
Yes.
and they just made
Eugenics,
it
et
10
cetera.
times worse. And so what again?
Well, right. I mean, but just like the way that we had ostracized and oppressed Black people in the United States, he like
Yes.
looked at that for inspiration.
And now we've come full circle because Donald Trump admires
it's
right, right. And I was trying to say, read Ruth Ben-Ghiat's book, Strongman.
Yeah.
It's a very, very easy read that puts this all together. And she wrote it a couple years ago, and it's,
And I have something depressing to share with everybody, which I am even reluctant to say out loud. But in the history of fascism, I do not believe that once it has been elected democratically, as it has this time, it has ever left democratically.
right.
Ever.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's an
yes.
Orwell quote, right? Or was it from another book? That no one, they don't seize
I don't
power,
know, but
release it, relinquish
But
it.
Orwell wrote that 50, 60, 70 years ago. I'm
Mhm.
talking about what's happened since.
Yep.
Mhm.
Never, ever, ever. It has been a violent overthrow, or in the case of Franco in Spain or the Portuguese fascists, they just died after 50 years of being.
Right.
And they're still finding mass graves in Spain today. Today.
Decades
Year
later.
of our Lord 2025, they're still finding mass
Yeah.
graves.
Which I think is probably a good transition to my over it. Speaking of fascism and terrorizing the population, DC is still under Donald Trump's control here with the police department and the National Guard. And Donald Trump in his press conferences recently, since last week, especially on Monday, talked all about how DC's safe again, and people he hasn't, people he heard from that haven't been able to go out to dinner are finally going out to dinner after 4 years. That's all bullshit. Okay, that is a complete lie, because the restaurants and bars, and the Washington Post is talking about this in online, that their sales and their patronage is down significantly, 50 to 75% in some areas of the city, because people are scared to go out in the streets.
Yep.
They don't want to deal with this because they're being terrorized by federal agents that are like Gestapo people. And now they're sending more Republican states are sending the National Guard in from their states to increase their presence and to arm them.
Mhm.
This is literally terrorizing Washington, D.C. at Donald Trump's behest so that he can exert power. That's what this is about. So he can do it, the little microcosm here, and desensitize people to it so that they can put it nationally. This is outrageous. I talked about this on our Saturday conversation. I don't know if it was this week or last week, about the memo coming out that was leaked out of the Department of Defense, how Pete Hegseth's brother is spearheading this to prepare for the militarization of other blue cities across the country. This is, and I think it was you, Michelle, somebody months ago had a friend whose husband was in the National Guard and came home, like,
Yep.
here, who came home ashen because of what they were being told in his National Guard unit to prepare for. And he couldn't talk about what it
Correct.
was, but he was like ashen horrified.
Sick.
It makes sense now. We didn't know back in January, February. We had an idea. But now, putting
Makes
that all
sense.
together, this makes sense. This has been the plan from day one. And
Yeah.
now, Em, I think you have the video. Here's an example of what they're doing to people in Washington, D.C. Watch this.
You all right, dude?
Delivery guy on a moped.
Hey, pull Chris off. Pull Chris off.
This is in one of the more well-to-do neighborhoods in Washington,
Stop.
14th Street.
Oh yeah. It's right by Le Diplomat, right?
Is that Adam
Yes.
Morgan?
Look at those brave men in masks.
Turner.
So great.
What agency are you guys with?
Oh, are you guys a cop? Shut the
They continue not to identify themselves.
What agency are you guys with?
Not legal.
Can you guys tell us who you are? Who are you?
Look at the jackass on the ground. Listen to this.
Oh, you guys are ruining this country. You know that, right? Liberals already ruined it.
Oh.
There it is. There
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
I
This is
saw
a bad
that
word,
part.
guys. Hey guys.
And I
That's
said,
wearing a pride flag.
No number, no ID, no name.
Is that
Sad.
gonna wear a pride flag?
I don't know if everybody caught it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at the end of that video, the guys who were videotaping it said, "You guys are ruining this country." And one of those fucking masked Gestapo bastards turned around and said, "Liberals have already ruined it."
Mhm.
That, under any other circumstance, would have been grounds for removal, dismissal, disciplinary action, at least, if not firing. You are
Mhm.
not supposed to bring political viewpoints into law enforcement where you are clearly telling us you're targeting people how you feel about liberals. So you are exerting fear and favor. That is what we're facing right here. And those are the kinds of people who are now being recruited and empowered into the federal law enforcement ranks. And we should not put up with that. That should scare the
As
shit
far
out
as
of
we
everybody.
know, because we don't actually know who they are, and the
Right.
reality is that that could be just a bunch of thugs wearing flak jackets they bought on Amazon,
Yeah.
Yep.
snapping random people off the street. You know how we don't know who it is? Because they won't identify themselves. They won't wear
Right.
insignia. We don't know anything about them. We're just assuming that it's ICE, and that's the potentially best case scenario.
That's
And
right.
And this
This
is
is where I'm like,
It's
where are all
right.
these Alex Jones guys? Like, back in like the Bush era, right? And I've said this before. I had this boyfriend at the time. I didn't have the internet or cable, so I didn't know. Sorry. He used to listen to like Infowars and all this stuff. And I remember it was like FEMA camps and like, masked guys on the streets, like, surveillance, like all this stuff. And it was like all this conspiracy theory, like fear-based stuff. I'm like, where are all of you now?
some
Because
guy.
it happened.
Yeah, Mehdi Hassan posted some guy on that side who said that very thing, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Look,
I think I saw it.
hate Tim Dillon." He said they've already got the National Guard on the street. They
Right.
already have all your information in DC, and now they just get to decide what is and isn't over the line. That should scare everybody. This is everything Alex Jones always talked about.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
crazy.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy that we're like, Alex Jones was right. I never thought I
Fair.
would say that
Where
before.
is
but,
Alex?
you know,
Where is Alex Jones on this? Right? Because if this were Joe Biden,
Oh God.
oh my
I
God.
can only imagine
He'd be
that
having a
Fox News would be running a 20. They would blow out all the commercial breaks. This would be non-stop.
That's what they did during Ferguson. That's what they did during the Black Lives Matter protests, where the
Mhm.
overwhelming majority of them were peaceful. In some places, obviously, you did have some violence, but they were, isolated incidents. The George Floyd protests were peaceful protests overwhelmingly. And Donald Trump sent in what he did on Lafayette Square in Washington, D.C. by sending the law enforcement in to rough people up so he could go, do that stupid walk with the upside down Bible. That was a moment, another inflection point for me. Before I hadn't left the party yet. It was another inflection point for me. Everybody knows my law enforcement allegiance and family connection, where I said, I cried that day. And I said, oh my God, I never thought that I would see this in my lifetime. And now it is being mainstreamed. I just saw on CNN, it's on behind me, that now Donald Trump is they're instructing the Department of Homeland Security to paint the border fence black as a further, deterrent, so that it's so hot it burns the skin off people who try to climb it. This is in line with what Miles Taylor talked about during the first election. The first administration, where Trump wanted to put spikes so people could be impaled, and actually wanted to build a moat to put alligators. So he's getting his, to Joe's point, his little ween peen dreams about the moat. He's got alligator Alcatraz in Florida. He's got the Gestapo on the streets now, literally snatching people off the streets, off their bikes, walking down the street. They're breaking the windows of cars. They're throwing Black women on the ground for, for God forbid, for asking a question, what are you doing here in Washington? We're watching this happen in plain sight. And what the fuck are Democrats in Congress doing? This should be everywhere. I went to a town hall of my freshman congressman in Northern Virginia this week on Monday. And I took video and I was sending him to the group chat. I was so incredibly frustrated with his mealy mouth answers about things where he literally, like, the people in the audience, and I would say the median age was probably 60. And because, those are the folks who are most interested in what's happening, and they go at the time. There were some young folks there. I was actually very proud to see a Black man and his son, teenage son, at that town hall. And I thought to myself, this is great because we need the younger generations involved. But they were person after person was asking, what are you guys doing? What are you doing? We don't want to hear about your press conferences. We don't want to hear about, like, we don't have power. There was a young guy, maybe 30 years old, who got up there and said, I am so incredibly disappointed in your leadership. You've let us down. You are telling us you have no power, that you have no leverage. We don't want to hear that. We, the people, we're supposed to have power. He's like, how many people in here feel like they don't have power? And they, like, I'd say 65% of the audience raised their hands. And then he's like, and he turned back to the congressman and said, that's because you guys, you say you don't have power. So what are we supposed to do? And you're the one that's elected. He's like, he's like, I never said that. It got testy. And he goes, you started this conversation off in the beginning with, we don't have leverage. We're in the minority. We would like, we want.
That's right.
Bullshit.
A woman stood up and said, I don't want, these are, read back his words. You want, you'd like. She goes, no, you demand.
This is why what Gavin Newsom is doing right now. And this isn't my over
I
it.
hand it over to you, Joe.
Yeah.
This is why I was very, 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 very excited, and I felt very honored and proud to have Gavin Newsom on the Siren podcast yesterday with a panel of Gen Z creators that are doing good work out there and fighting fire with fire. But I have been back and forth with Gavin Newsom over the last year or so because I think he's made some missteps and some mistakes in platforming people like Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon, etc. Yep. But what he's doing right now is exactly what Tara just said, the opposite of, right? He is not saying, I don't have any power. We don't have any power. Our hands are tied. On to the contrary, he is saying we have to seize the power we have in this moment, because if we don't, we'll look back at 2025 and go, man, things were actually pretty good back then. And then what happened? Well, we lost democracy and we lost any chance to fight that existed. And that is what the Texas Democrats are doing right now. That's what Kathy Hochul on some level is doing. JB Pritzker is doing. Gavin Newsom is saying, we're going to fight fire with fire, and we, the people, are going to fight and stand up right now. I don't want to hear anybody in my party ever say, there's nothing I can do. I don't have any power. If you want to say that, get out of office. Get out of the way. Because there's 100,000 people behind you, I promise you, who have shit on the line right now, who are not going to give up and go quietly into the night. And that is why, I don't want Gavin Newsom to be perfect. I am not Veruca Salt. I don't care if my elected officials are my dream dates. I'm not going to marry them, have their kids, or wake up in bed with him, even though he is good looking, and I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers, but I digress. I want a fucking fighter right now.
I'm not mad at it.
Kimberly Guilfoyle disqualified.
What?
He used to sleep with Kimberly Guilfoyle. So
oh yeah, you're right. We need a lot of sage, a lot of sage with tequila, but still. But for real, like Tara, I'm sad that freshman lawmaker said those things. I'm sad for the state of a lot of the Democratic Party right now. And I'm fired up as fuck by what Gavin Newsom is doing. And it started with the Texas Democrats. That's where it started. And it's spreading like wildfire. And it's infused our side with fight, with determination, with a destination, and with fire. And that's what we need more of. And I was really proud to have him on the podcast. He also said some pretty funny things and some sort of like teased out some salacious things about Donald Trump. But go check it out, the Siren Network.com. But yeah, no, he's
When, Joe?
When is
What-
it up?
it's out now.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
great.
Over the siren.
We just
Everybody.
at like 9:30 this morning. It is out now. Yes, I'm sorry. It is out now. It's Olivia Giuliana, Harry
Love her.
Sisson, and Aaron Parnas, and myself, and Gavin. We got 35 minutes with him. But Tara, like you saying all of that, it's the antithesis of what we need right now. And I'm glad that the people in the audience stood up and said, no, you can't talk in those terms. You've already given up. Then you're Columbia, then you're Brown, then you're all those law firms, you're CBS, you're ABC. We need fighters. I don't care if they're perfect, imperfect. I don't care if they have perfect hair. I don't care if they're riding a velociraptor with a 12 pack. We need fighters right now. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what.
And that's what the audience said. That's what those women, and there is a woman, it was like 3 women that were
Always the women.
real, of course,
Yeah.
really passionate about that, and basically saying the same thing. There was a woman that said she came from South America in 1966, and that she's lived here and she's an American citizen, and she escaped what was going on in South America and comes here and sees what's happening now and is like, she said to him, I don't understand how you're not more upset.
Well,
Mhm.
And
right.
I was like, exactly. And I was just sitting there. I was sitting in the back because I want to be able to slip out when I wanted to without being, but I was sitting in the back, and I also like to watch the audience, and I was observing. And so many people were like, yes. And this congressman is, again, he's a freshman, and he's
a
a bit of
human
a-
embodiment of a dental exam.
Yes, he's like a Democrat and kind of like really careful. And where I live in Northern Virginia, these are the types of, you've got educated voters here because we're so close to Washington, D.C., that people are pretty informed.
Right.
And yet, even they were like, dude, like, show some spine. And he kept saying, I'm open. I work for you, and I'm open to what I can do to be more whatever, right? Because people are like, where's the anger? Where's the and he's like, I'm open to your suggestions on how I can be angrier. And I thought to
It's
myself,
not up to us to tell you what to do.
that's what
your
I'm
job.
saying. You don't need to fucking focus group how to be angry and upset about what's going on. I was
You're
literally
just a leader.
I wanted to grab the microphone from him so bad. I wanted to just go up on stage and say, let me help you out. Let me show you how it's done, Congressman. How many people here are upset that here's another one. There was a guy who older gentleman who just lost his sister like 2 weeks ago. He said that she survived on Social Security and Medicaid benefits. And if it hadn't been for those supplemental programs that Medicaid provides for older folks who are on disability, she would not have been able to live her life as long as she did. And he was like, and now that's being taken away from millions of Americans. And so, and people in the audience were like, we're so sorry, they were like, and that you could feel the emotion. And the congressman had no emotional reaction to that. How do you not say, this is why I'm here to fight for your sister, for everyone in here who has someone that relies on these benefits, that relies on that. That's why I'm here. He never said I will fight for you or like.
I don't understand. Like, why run for office? Running for office is so hard. It's so expensive. It's so taxing. And I was like, first of all, I'm like, how do these people get elected, especially in places like Northern Virginia, where there's like more competition? You know what I mean? Like, I think about like running for Congress in Manhattan, right? It's like crazy.
Right.
And
young,
like, how are these people
40s.
running? How are they winning? I don't.
So,
it mirrors
right now, if somebody primaried him, if a more dynamic
Like an
Democrat,
AOC-ish person came in,
Right.
I think that he or she would kick his ass.
primaried him, they'd win.
It mirrors the fecklessness on the right. It mirrors like I often ask myself the same question. We always say this, like, why are you in office if you're afraid to stand up for what you're supposed to be there to do? If you're abandoning your principles and your constituents' needs, what are you doing there? I don't understand this. I'll never understand.
So here's what really worries me about this. There is a election happening in Virginia, and there's an election happening in New Jersey this November.
Which is, it's my over it too. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I don't want to step in your over it.
Yeah.
But I talk about New Jersey, which I don't think is your over it.
Mm-mm.
New Jersey has a woman named Mikey Sherrill, who has an incredible resume, former fighter pilot, former assistant U.S. attorney, congresswoman, very well-spoken, very, kind of charismatic, running the safest campaign I have ever seen in my life. The kind of campaign that you'd be running in 1996, 1997, right?
Same in Virginia.
Yep. And the entire campaign consists of, I am not Donald Trump. Okay, maybe that's enough. I don't know.
Not in New Jersey, it's not.
But I have run many a campaign in New Jersey. This is the first statewide that I'm not involved in. And in fact, I've actually never met Mikey Sherrill, which is astounding considering that I've literally been involved in that state for 30 years. But she's running against a guy named Jack Ciattarelli, whom I've met 20,000 times. Why? Because Jack Ciattarelli has met everybody 20,000 times. Jack Ciattarelli will call me up and ask if he can drive into New York to have lunch with me, a Republican, knowing full well that I'm not even a New York, I'm not even a New Jersey voter.
Julie, remind people how close the election was in 2021.
2021,
Ciattarelli and Murphy.
Ciattarelli and Murphy. Murphy lost on election night on the machines. The only reason he won and pulled it out by a couple of points is because of vote by mail. Trump was trying to discourage vote by mail. And Jack Ciattarelli has done this 3 times. This is his third statewide campaign. He is not running as a Trumper. He is running as a guy with a very simple message. Hey, everybody, this state is fucking unaffordable, and I am going to make sure that it's not unaffordable anymore. Now, that's concrete. And in a state that Donald Trump only lost by a few points last year, I don't know that running as not 5%. Donald Trump is enough.
That's right. He only lost by 5 or 6%, where Joe Biden beat him by 13%.
Yes,
that is a really bad, wrong direction for Democrats.
Yep. And just to put it in perspective, Al Gore beat George Bush in 2000 by 19 points. It's been going down this way for the last 25 years. So I want to say that to say it's that playing it safe, good boy, good girl, top of the class, best student, head boy, head girl mentality of I woke up at the age of 10 and I decided I wanted to be president of the United States, and I have done everything by the book to get that way. Nobody wants that bullshit anymore because it comes across as inauthentic. It comes across as cautious, and you don't come across as a fighter at a time when people are dying. They need fighters on both sides of the aisle, which is why Donald Trump is so appealing to so many people, because at least he fights. I've heard that so much from people.
Yep.
Oh, man, at least he fights. At least he fights.
Yeah. Which is my over it.
Go ahead.
There's a story in the New York Times this morning. I was going to pull this up. Democratic Party faces a voter registration crisis. The party is bleeding support beyond the ballot box, a new analysis shows. Of the 30 states that track voter registration by political party, Democrats have lost ground to Republicans in every single one between 2020 and 2024. Here is the map. Change in share of registered voters 2020 to 2024. This really sent me this part. The swing helps to explain President Trump's success last year when he won the popular vote for the first time, swept the swing states, and roared back to the White House. Quote, I don't want to say the death cycle of the Democratic Party, but there seems to be no end to this. And that's from Michael Pruser, who is from Decision Desk headquarters. He also said there is no silver lining or cavalry coming across the hill. This is month after month, year after year. And so the shifts also preview Democratic weakness in 2024, and the party saw some of its steepest declines in registration among men and younger voters, the Times analysis found. So, yeah. I'm like, do we like losing? I'm starting to think that like we like it's like an S&M thing, like hit me again. Like I don't know what it is. And you know, to your point of the member that you saw at your town hall, Tara, I'm like, do you care? Do you want to? I don't think you want to. I don't think you want to win. And you know, let me throw this back up here. And I bring that to the Virginia race. So in addition to the New Jersey race, the Virginia race, Winsome Earl Sears is the Republican running. She's the nominee.
Batshit crazy, by the way.
Insane.
Abigail Spanberger should be up by 20 points. But this
Yep.
article from Newsweek says that Winsome Earl Sears surges in New Virginia poll against Abigail Spanberger. The margin has narrowed to 7 points. Guys,
Terrifying.
I'm telling you right now, I said this to my husband this morning. I was like, Abigail Spanberger, she gonna lose. Or Mikey Sherrill, she's gonna lose because these people are playing it safe.
Mhm.
And I stay safe by like, no, you shouldn't be out there like lighting shit on fire. But you know what? Maybe you should. And it comes down. And
politically lighted on fire. That's
Yeah.
that's
right.
the
Yes.
problem. They're not politically lighting shit on fire. Where Republicans do, they light shit on fire, and then they say, "Look, we're the firemen coming to put it out."
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
and I wish that I knew the creator's name off the top of my head, but she talks about the Democrats and the bike shed theory. I don't know if she came up with it or not, but it's like, okay, we're gonna make a bike shed. Okay, let's have a meeting about who's gonna start the bike shed project. And then we're
Mhm.
gonna have a meeting about that meeting, and then we're gonna break off into other groups. And like
Mhm.
this is how the Democrats are doing literally everything. And I'm not just talking
Right.
campaigns, I'm talking
Yeah.
about messaging, I'm talking about communications, and I mean, we were even just talking this morning. Sarah sent me something on Instagram about just another part of all of this that the Republicans have invested year after year after year. Like, do we all need to be reminded about Sinclair, about the company Sinclair that bought up all the local news stations, and they
Yep.
all parrot the same talking points,
Yep.
you know,
Look
day
at their
after day,
social
year
media
after
game.
year.
Yeah,
Right,
look at
social media.
how they've managed to completely take over the social media ecosystem. I mean, there are
Yeah.
graphs after graphs, graphic after graphic of this being all giant red circles and teeny tiny little blue dots. And
Yep.
and you know who's not doing that is the four of us and people like us. We're not waiting. We're not having a million meetings to have a meeting about having a meeting about doing something.
That's right.
You get
No.
out there and you do it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
The four of us got together and said, hey, we have no money and we're, you know, like this, I don't know what this is going to be, but
Yeah.
like, let's just do a show and the four of us are going to talk and hopefully people will tune in. And wouldn't that be great? Because somebody has to do something.
And we built a community of literally 15,000 or so people who show up on Saturday mornings, and a large number of you show up on Wednesdays
Mhm.
out of nothing, just because
Yeah.
we decided to get together and do this. If we can do this, imagine what having a congressional budget actually gets you.
Right.
Or any
Or
budget.
having, you know, billionaires and people who
Yeah.
are invested heavily
Yeah.
in the future of our country
Right.
actually financing the defense of our democracy. Because
Yeah.
the article, the thing that I sent Michelle on Instagram this morning was from a Black woman content creator that does these like vignettes that are like 2-3 minutes long, sometimes like 4 minutes, maybe max, where she breaks down things that are going on that you don't hear in the mainstream media. I learned something from her this morning about this group of tech bros and, you know, moneyed people on the right that have a thing called, was it called Rockbridge?
Mhm.
What was it called, Michelle? Was that it?
I think so.
That's like this gathering that they do twice a year that you pay a membership into. So you basically pay a membership that ranges from like $100,000 to $1 million that you pay into, and it's this network of like-minded right wingers that take that money and they invest it in super PACs, in like Turning Point USA type of conferences, like online influencers, into restaurants, other clubs. Like do you understand that there's a restaurant in DC called, what is it called, Butterworth's or something, where it's really just for the MAGA influencers, the MAGAs. I mean, anybody can go there, but it's designed to be their little clubhouse.
Well, and
And
all their influencers and creators have budgets. They are never stressed out about how they're going to make ends meet in their own lives because the Democratic influencer space, let me tell you, a lot of these people are traveling sometimes on their own dime to go to these things in other states. And then like maybe they're waiting for people in the DNC to give them money. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it out. Like waiting for people to like help fund them. But then there's another person who like doles out the money. Like it is such horseshit. And like, this is, again, Tara and I were at an event last night in New York where somebody had brought this up about the investment And it's like, I don't want to hear about any more rich Democrats moving to England because they're afraid of Donald Trump, instead of taking some of that money and throwing it at the problem and trying to make solutions instead of running away from it. I was like, because this country has provided them every opportunity to make their millions of dollars. The least they could do is throw some of it back at us, or any of us who are trying to do something about it. Like, come on.
In particular, as it pertains to content creators and influencers, obviously this is the world that I occupy, and it is incredibly frustrating. It's the reason I created the Siren Network, so that we could build our own ecosystem, so that we could build up micro and macro influencers, so that we could get new voices amplified, so that we can start making. And it's all grassroots, right? Like, there's nobody would invest, and same with Seneca. I mean, you guys are doing fucking amazing work, and it's hard as hell to get people to fund this and finance it. And what our party, and guys, we're not,
especially as women,
I'm not interested in bashing the Democratic Party. I know that people give us shit for that. We're
but like it's tough love, guys. Like, like it's like yelling at your kid to like get their shit together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it does go back to Newsom a little bit too, because something that you can do that doesn't cost a ton of money, as any legislator anywhere, is start upping your social media game. Whether that's working with a content creator, whether or not you're paying them. Hopefully you are. Most likely you're not right now, which is a whole another problem, because the consultancy class is still getting rich. Very, 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 very courtside Olympic basketball rich. But hopefully what Gavin Newsom's social media team is doing right now is they're throwing down fire every day that is putting Republicans back on their heels. And that's one little way you can do it. That's a fight every single one of them can wage. Maybe they're not all funny, maybe they're not all that creative, but there's ways to do that. There are people who will help you do that. And like, that's one thing that like I see out there, and I'm like, don't tell me you're powerless. Go out there and bring something to the social media game. But our party is still stuck. They're very much stuck in paying this consultancy class a lot of money to do hashtags. And I just, it's not making a difference. Do nothing. Yeah. And it's not changing fast enough. It's just not.
Hakeem Jeffries like tweeted something completely tone deaf the other day, and it was like, I forget what it was, but it was something like benign. And like the first tweet underneath of it was like, do you know what's going on right now in your country, that you are, minority? Like, I'm like, where are you?
Yeah.
Open your mouth, do something. And Tara said, in the circle of women that we were with last night, amazing, powerful women, by the way. She said, we all have an opportunity here. Like, it's like we're part of the algorithm, right? We were talking about the algorithm and like liking and sharing. It's like, because, we can't always give money, and like, yes, small dollar donation, things like that. But like, it's the liking, and it's the sharing, and it's the making of things like Mayday Network, which is what we're trying to do, is create a space. And we hope that people will come and support that. But if more of us are not in the space speaking and clicking and liking, because that stuff matters, they have complete control over the algorithm.
They're flooding the zone.
Yep, and they are.
That's right.
And it's
Joe, how can people subscribe to the Siren?
So the Siren Network, that's the website. It's thesirennetwork.com. That's the hub, and you'll see there's a little scroll down menu. We've got 7 shows right now, and we're hopefully going to be building. We're going to have contributors in terms of written content as well. And then you go to YouTube and all our socials. It's the Siren. I put the link to that Newsom interview in our chat. I am not savvy enough to be able to link it through my computer, which I'm talking to everybody on right now. So I don't know how to put that in the chat. There it is. I think
we'll get it in. Hold on.
In there. But yeah, so I mean, honestly, I just want to say this, and my over it is the fucking Putin ridiculousness with the red carpet, having our men and women on their hands and knees rolling out a red carpet for a murderous dictator who on his best day would have every single one of them murdered. Like, this is the truth. But like, I think we're all pissed about that. But I just want to say, like, it kind of like, as we wrap up this one, because I know everybody has to go, the reason that I wanted to do the Siren, the reason that you guys are doing Mayday, and I'm going to speak for you, but like, is because we were looking around out there for like people to do it, to step up, and nobody was stepping up. And so why not us? Why not me? Why not you guys? Somebody's got to do it. And hopefully none of us are ladder pullers either. Like, you know what I mean? Like Tara has always been incredibly encouraging for me and supportive of me and helping me grow. I mean, that Julie too. I mean, and I'm on this podcast because of all of you guys. And that's the kind of stuff that we need to build, and we need help. We do. We need support. Because when we build this stuff, we're going to pull others with us, and others and truly lifting all boats, because somebody's got to fight this fight. And somebody's got to meet this moment. And right now in this moment, it looks like this. And thank God that you guys are doing this. Thank God that you guys exist in this space and encourage and support other people like me, like everybody here in this chat. Like, thank God for all the people who help with this podcast and other things that we work on. But we have to build it, and we need help because there's nobody coming to save us.
No,
There's nobody coming to save us.
Right.
And that's the most important thing that you said, Joe, is that our leaders stop looking to them. Tara, stop going to those town hall meetings, because that guy's not going to do jack shit. Like, there's just not.
Oh no, I'll keep going to them so I can report back.
But don't count on them to actually do anything. It's up to us.
Oh, just by the way, a couple people asked what congressman it was. It's Congressman Suhas Subramanian. He's got a tough last name to pronounce, but it's Suhas Subramanian. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Virginia 10.
yeah.
And so everybody in this chat, it's up to you guys individually. And Joe's absolutely right. We just got together. We decided to do this. Get together and do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
And don't ask for permission. Just do it.
You guys at Seneca launched Seneca. You just sat down and decided to do it. Nobody didn't ask for permission. Gretchen
We
Carlson
certainly did not.
And there's people who tried to stop us from doing it.
Oh my God, he's only 38, by the way, that congressman.
What?
I thought he was like in his mid 40s at least.
Yeah.
He's only
God.
38. Anyway.
But that's my point. Gretchen Carlson and I decided to do our nonprofit and pass 2 federal laws and a bunch more in the states. Trust me, nobody was giving us permission. Quite the opposite. People tried to stop us too, and we did it. And Joe, you came from a horrible personal situation where you were trying to put a roof over your kids' heads.
Yeah.
And you figured out a way to do that. And the reality is all of us have it in us to do that. So please, if you're listening to us right now, whatever you think you can do more. Nobody's asking you to write $1 billion check if you don't have the need. Write a $1
Do
check.
something else. Right.
If you can't write a $1 check, volunteer, stuff envelopes, make phone calls, go knock on your friends' doors, tell them to tune in.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, turn off the bullshit. Next time, I was on this show, but next time you see some asshole defending slavery, turn the channel. I don't care.
Yeah. Don't give him the ratings. Well, and gather.
I think there's more people right now. We have almost 6,000 people watching this live across all the platforms between Twitter and YouTube and everywhere else that we stream. And that's low for us usually on a Wednesday. Usually it's over like 11, 12, 13,000 people. And on Saturdays, it's roughly the same. But even with that amount of people, there's almost 6,000 people watching this on a mid-Wednesday afternoon. That's probably more people that are watching than watching CNN Live right now.
Oh, yeah. If people knew how few people are watching at any given moment of cable news, they would, shocked. Yeah. There were times like when I, used to help produce a show that Tara was on that like more people were watching that just like this than people were watching like MS.
That is correct.
MS Now. Graphic design is my passion. But Tara, I just the photo of all of us is up on the Persist Network Instagram.
Oh, good.
So I would actually like to throw it up on here.
Yeah, so we can. Okay. I wasn't sure if we could say who we were with. So
I know, but the picture's up now, so I feel like
so
it's okay
public now.
I love it.
So just so people fully understand, we are in the living room, the infamous, amazing, historical living room of Gloria Steinem. And that's Gloria Steinem in the middle and the bottom there, sitting in the chair, and Michelle right behind her, and me right behind Michelle. And in a room, an incredible room of powerful women. E. Jean Carroll was there.
Over on the right.
Our friend Rhonda Fox, thank you for inviting us from Persist there.
I got my paper clip.
Yes. E. Jean Carroll had a great idea of how, the MAGAs have their hat as their symbol. That's like their club. You don't have to say anything. You just know you're in the club with the hat. And she's like, you know what? It was a powerful tool that was used to break open locks, that's used to break open handcuffs, it's used to keep things together. She's like, it's a paperclip. And so she's like, it might be a corny idea, but at least it's something that we can all wear that to show what side we're on. And I was like, that's very cool. But anyway,
She's onto something. Yeah.
Yeah, she was on something. The concept of that, I was like, that's something you can galvanize around. But yeah, it was really an honor to be in that room and knowing what was launched from there, how many movements. I mean, Shirley Chisholm and
I just got chills.
It was really, really an incredible experience.
Walking in, I kind of couldn't believe that I was there.
We got to sign her book, her guest book of so many people who have been there. It was just really incredible. And this is how movements start.
Yeah. And you guys, you had every right to be there and deserve to be there. So don't pinch yourself because you deserve it, as do all of us, as does everybody in this chat, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is not meant to be a rah-rah show, but it turned out to be a rah-rah show for that reason.
But I just want to say something. I just want to say something on that note because something I said to my husband this morning because he was like, "What was it? Whatever."
Final thoughts, Michelle. We have a
I know.
Being places.
I know. Is that dreams change and lives change? Just Joe, you know this more better than anybody. Same with me. And if you told me 10 years ago you're going to be sitting in Gloria Steinem's living room 10 years from now, I would have been like, huh. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And where I came from and where I am now, to think that I would ever be in that living room, I would have told you were crazy. Yeah. But I'm so proud to be a part of that movement and be able to pay homage to the women who paved the road, paved the path before us, the trailblazers. Yep. Incredible work. So
that's the difference between these elected officials, Tara, that you were talking about, and us and people like us. We don't say I can't. We say I will, and then we go out and do it.
And we say hell no, we won't go back because American girls never back down.
All right, everybody. Bye. See you Saturday, everybody. Bye.
See you Saturday, tomorrow night for the Stakes, 7:30, Seneca Project. We have some good guests and good topics tomorrow. So we'll see you there and on Saturday.
And check out Joe's interview on Sarah Network.
And I've had it ladies on too.
Oh, amazing.
A little bit of a week here.
Killing it, Joe. We love you.
So proud of you, Joe. Awesome. All right. Bye, everybody.